Hi Stephen, good afternoon to you. It's looking really good that Ireland will be a co-host at the Euros in 2028. How excited are you about that?
Excited about that? Well, yeah, I think it's good news overall. I think it's positive to have the European Championships in Ireland, and that's certainly that is a good news story, and I'm sure the Irish supporters will look forward to having a lot of games in this country, and and that's to look forward to. And it's quite a distance away now, but I'm sure that they will look forward to it when it happens.
There are some who are saying that Ireland need to deal with other things that are more important, grassroots and League of Ireland, and maybe they get distracted by sort of hosting this competition. What would you say to those sceptics?
No, it's not sceptics. It's a point of view which I respect. I think I don't necessarily think they're conflicting. I would say that the infrastructure in football in this country is nowhere near the level that it needs to be, and needs serious government investment. And I think the Taoiseach has acknowledged that and said publicly that he wants to invest in academies in Ireland. And I know that there is programs for clubs to try and increase the infrastructure, because we're way behind the rest of Europe in relation to stadium facilities. We're way behind, in this country, and I think we know that, but I don't see that necessarily as being conflicting with hosting Euro 28. They're two. I don't see that. I think government funding for infrastructure, and maybe ultimately the Euro 28 is a money generator, isn't it, for the economy? I don't know what's involved in the finance. I actually have no idea what it's costing or how much it is. I wouldn't know. But certainly, so I'm not qualified to speak in regard to the exact figures involved. But personally, I don't see it as a negative, and I think it's good for people who want to see, a major tournament and be part of big events like that and fill it. And I think Ireland wants to be part of that as well, and we want to be. Ideally, we want to be there. When it comes around, and that's what you'd hope for.
Tony?
Stephen, a key area of the FAI strategy was about improving facilities and infrastructures. And the FAI, as we know, is cash strapped. So there's a limited amount of resources, financial, and a limited amount of resources in terms of personnel. Do you not see that this might take the eye off the ball, so to speak?
Yeah, being honest, I'm not sure where the money is coming from, whether it comes from FAI coffers or whether it comes from various government departments and so forth. So I'm not certain of that. So I don't have the details of that, nor have I had any discussions about that, So I cannot be certain about that. But ultimately, I don't see having a Euro 28. It essentially would be in Dublin, obviously the Aviva or Croke Park. Unfortunately, there's nowhere else in Ireland, but it'll essentially be in Dublin. But I don't necessarily see it as conflicting. I think it'd be a positive to have. I'm not a spokesman for this. I hadn't even really considered it at length. I'm not speaking for it. You just asked me an opinion, okay? And I'm not at all involved in it in any shape or form. But I think if you're asking me opinion, and I'm not aware of the exact financial details, but I don't see it as being in conflict. I see it as the Euro 28 as an opportunity to have big events in Ireland, big football events. We, as Ireland, want to be part of that, and that would be special for the country if we were, and in a situation like that. Because the previous ones would have been COVID and empty stadiums and all that. So going forward, it would be special to have that in the country. How we divide the finance, I haven't got the specifics on that. So I don't know. I think the upgrading of infrastructure is a different argument, I think. And
but look at this possible situation: if the Euros expands to 32, likely the Croke Park will be required, and then a lot of money will have to go to upgrading the Croke Park facilities to reach UEFA standards. So you'll see money going into improving Croke Park. for a football tournament.
Yeah, no, it's a valid point. I think that that is valid. I'm not going to argue against that. I don't know how much is involved in that, or what money goes to Croke Park, or where it comes from, and so forth. It's not something that I've been focusing on in any great detail, but I do think. I think that the experience for Irish football, the Irish football public, they would enjoy it. It'd be a big event, and they want to be a part of it, and certainly. But that's not. It is years away, and do I want all the resources to be focused on that, and away from all the other aspects of football? No, I don't. Of course not. That's not the question. Can they coexist? Can we continue to grow football at all levels in the country, and the league, and still have the Euro 28 as a separate entity and something to look forward to in many years' time? Possibly, but that's the way I'd see it.
Can I just ask you? You just signed a new contract, but to be involved still as the manager, would you like to remain involved and have the Euros? You talked about having the Euros in Germany. I know how big that would be, but to be involved to manage your country in a finals in your country.
Yeah, it's a considerable distance away, and I've got to be focusing on the 28th of March first and foremost. I think that's the games next week against Belgium and Lithuania are special games, but that's in the distance. And I'm not going to make big statements about that, now at the moment. But I think it's a good thing for football in the country, and but my job now is to prepare the team for the Nations League coming up, and for the European Championship qualifiers, and to get into Euro 24. And of course, if we achieve that, then you can look forward after that. But I think at the moment that's my main focus.
Last one for me, just for final one. Would you, as a football man, prefer a 32-team competition, which is over half the people, the countries trying to participate, or a 24? Because people do say there's a dilution of quality the more countries get into the finals.
Right. I think I'm going to go with the obvious, probably, because it suits us, because qualifying for tournaments, it's never easy for a country our size, and I think I'm not against, certainly not. It would be foolish for me to be against a 32-team competition. The fact that a couple of extra group games, would have to be played, wouldn't dilute the overall quality of the quarterfinals, semi-finals, or finals. I wouldn't see that. So, I would have no problem with that.
Thank you.
Gary? Yeah, just this is your only get-together, these two games before the Nations League. So how much do you think, particularly as a player number one in the world, how much do you think you can use them to experiment either in formation or with different players?
Yeah, well, we've got to look at, because we've got, the picture was that we got 4 games in 10 days in June in the Nations League. So that's obviously we're to play the Ukraine, Armenia, Scotland, and Ukraine again. That was originally the idea. We're not certain, that would have been a big ask for the squad, and we would have needed certainly more than 11 players. We would need a full squad to participate in that kind of schedule, which was arduous travel. We're not sure now what the situation is in June. Will we play Armenia twice? Has been suggested. It's a game with Scotland, and so forth. Obviously, the Ukraine game has been. We hope that Ukraine can go ahead with their World Cup qualifier against Scotland. We don't know this, of course, and it looks unlikely now at the moment, even, to be honest. So, our thoughts are with the Ukrainians this time, because obviously the quality team, they got to the quarters of the European Championships. But certainly, there would be changes between the two games, between Saturday and Tuesday. There will be some changes, but that would be expected.
Last question in the last section. We just need to wrap up the last section very soon. This last question, please.
Quickly, just have you any injuries for this weekend?
Darragh Lenihan reported, obviously in on with some groin pain and groin. He reported in from Blackburn, and so we had a scan in Kappa Hospital there, and we had to send him home. So he has a tear in his groin from his game, and so he hadn't trained with us. That's from the game on Saturday. So we've had to send him home at the moment.
And just on the Belgian selection, you a bit disappointed that they're not taking their frontliners? I know you wanted a tier one.
I think that the players we're missing, probably have a greater effect on the players they're missing. We're missing Adam Eade, Andrew Amabamadeli, Enda Stevens, who are frontline players for us. Callum O'Dowd is obviously missing. So all of their players are from top teams in the European leagues. Like Lukaku's not fit, so they've a choice of Batshuayi, Origi or Benteke as their first number 9, and only one of them will play. Do you know what I mean? So, and they've got that right throughout the team. Boyata would come in at the back. What's not a young player, he's 31, and Jason Denier. So those players that come in, they've already played in world, in major tournaments. So, okay, Kevin De Bruyne's a world class player, enjoyed to watch, and be great for everyone, the Irish public, to see him, because he is a real special talent. But certainly, they have a formidable team. They're the world number 1 team, and a formidable strength and depth, and we're aware of that. And we don't. We've emerging players. So the players that we're missing have an equal effect of the players they're missing to their team. They're missing from our team. They're only missing. They're missing who they're missing. But I think they have a formidable team, Belgium, and they're world number 1 because they've been so consistent winning matches, relentlessly. So that's the way I see it.
Okay, we're moving to the embargoed section now, sir.